All right there, guys, so we're gonna dive right into the honey garlic snack sticks. This version of the honey garlic snack stick I'm gonna do in a pepperoni sized casing, and we're gonna run it through the smokehouse, so it's gonna be a ready to eat snack stick. You can do this recipe in a fresh sausage, in a 29-32 millimeter, something you do up in a cast iron skillet or out on the grill. You're just gonna wanna subtract the cure and sodium erythorbate when we get to that step. But this one here, it's gonna be a fully cooked smoked snack stick. I'm making mine out of all beef, but you can do this with pork. This is actually a really great venison recipe. We do lots of that during hunting season. If you are doing it out of venison, you wanna make sure you get your fat percentage kind of at least 15% and up to 25 for a smoked product. So it's a little juicier, a little more flavorful. But today, like I said, I'm using beef. I have, it's a lean beef that I finished on a 3 millimeter or 1/8 plate. Lean ground beef, so that means it's got 15% fat in it, approximately, plus or minus a little bit, which is nice. You really kind of, it's tough to do anything less than 10 because it gets quite dry in the smokehouse. So we got a 15% fat. It's gonna be a little bit on the leaner side, but that's okay. We're gonna stuff it into 22 millimeter mahogany casings. Run it through the smokehouse. The equipment you'll need for doing this one is obviously you'll need a smokehouse, you need a sausage stuffer, you'll need a grinder. If you don't have a grinder, you can just pick up some ground beef from your local butcher or grocery store and just run it through your stuffer. With all that taken care of, then I will give you the recipe for the honey garlic snack sticks. This one isn't quite like a traditional pepperoni. Traditional pepperonis kind of got paprika, cayenne, anise in it. This is a snack stick, so it's a little bit different. It varies just a little bit because we're gonna have kind of a sweet garlic, so it's kind of like a sweet and savory sausage at the end. So starting at the top, in all sausages we got salt, and I use salt at 14 grams per kilogram. It's a little bit on the lower side. I usually try and end up with 21 grams of salt in the final product. So this one's a little bit lower because it's gonna help bring forward that sweet flavor that you're looking for in honey garlic. Then we're gonna add black pepper, 2 grams per kilogram, ginger, 1 gram per kilogram, garlic, granulated garlic, 10 grams per kilogram, which is a little bit on the high side, but in honey garlic, that's pretty much your main seasoning, your main flavor. So we got granulated garlic at 10 grams per kilogram, golden brown sugar, where you get the sweetness from, at 20 grams per kilogram. I'd recommend using brown sugar, not white sugar. Brown sugar kind of just adds a little more overall flavor. Then we're gonna use binder. Everyone always asks me, what binder do I use? I use soy protein isolate, but you can use a whey protein, basically anything protein related. Deheated mustard is a good meat binder. There's all sorts of them. I got more in my how to make a sausage recipe video if you want more details on binders. Then we're gonna use sodium erythorbate, which is a cure accelerator. You could also use ascorbic acid. At 0.5 gram per kilogram, you also don't need to use it, but if you're smoking it right after you stuff it, you have to, or I really strongly suggest use it. If you can let it sit overnight, you can skip the cure accelerator. Then we're gonna use cure number 1 at 3 grams per kilogram. Water, and this doesn't have the most culinary flair here, but it really helps bring out that honey garlic flavor. I use honey garlic sauce with the water because it just really provides a nice honey garlic flavor. So I use 35 grams of honey garlic sauce per kilogram of meat, and I just picked my favorite one. It's a real thick, sweet, garlicky sauce, and that's really gonna add to your flavor. I mean, it's not like I said, it doesn't have the most amount of culinary flair, but when we're making lots of batches of sausage, we don't, have time, the small crew of us, to, stand over top of a pot or a kettle and make honey garlic sauce from scratch. It's just pretty convenient, pretty easy to crack one of these, measure it out, and add it to our sausage, and it makes a great sausage at the end. If it's easy and good, give it a go. If you guys do have a great honey garlic sauce that you make at home, just use that at 35 grams per kilogram. But this is convenient and it makes a really nice sausage at the end. I like a thick and sweet one. So I've got my meat here. 2.4 kilograms, 5 pounds of lean ground beef. I've measured out all my spices here ahead of time. Got the brown sugar, pepper, ginger, garlic. I've got my thick honey garlic sauce measured out. So guys, that's 35 grams of that thick honey garlic sauce. And I usually add 10% water to my meat block. So that'd be 100 milliliters of water total. But since I have 35 grams of this, which is kind of like a liquid, I've dialed the water back down to 65 grams per kilogram in this recipe. So I'll measure that out. And then we'll add that to our meat block and season it up. All right, guys, got that measured out. Spread this out here and add my seasonings to do a big drop for you guys. Don't want to be spilling it outside of my container though. Then we'll just get it tossed in there a little bit. Yeah, so that ginger and garlic comes across. It's kind of got like a little bit of an Asian flavor influence, I guess. All right. Break them cubes of brown sugar up. Make sure you get it all spread out. You don't want to hit just a big wad of sugar. Add our water. That'll help start those spices melting or dissolving into our meat block, I should say. And you guys are just going to mix this. I got the honey garlic sauce to add yet, but you guys are going to just mix this until it's real good and sticky. So I'll throw in this honey garlic sauce. Oops. Good thing I didn't spill. Make sure you get every little bit. Add that honey garlic sauce. And I'll continue to mix here for the next couple minutes, guys, until it's real sticky, and I'll show you what you're shooting for. Okay, guys, so I've been tossing this around for a little bit here. There's the meat block. It's good and sticky. Grab a handful. And it sticks to your hand. That's what you're shooting for. You can really smell that garlic, that little bit of molasses from that honey garlic sauce. It's going to be good. I've made it lots of times. Now I'm just going to load this into the sausage stuffer. You can also use a stuffing horn attachment for your grinder if that's what you got. And then take it and you really want to jam it in there and push out as much of the air pocket as you can. Take a little bit of time doing this step, and we'll start stuffing them when it's all loaded. All right there, guys. So I took a couple moments. I got this good and stuffed. That honey garlic snack sticks, good and packed in there. We got the 22 millimeter mahogany casings. They just slide on the horn. My horn's a little bit small, so they had to feed them on. But these guys here, that's how they come. You don't have to soak them in water ahead of time. They're fine just to sleeve right on the horn and get started. This way they kind of look like they have a real nice smoky flavor when they come out. But what I do is I just pull a couple, an inch or whatever off the end, and I pinch at the end of the horn using the TV remote channel changing technique. So I put a couple fingers right on the end of the horn at the bottom, and the pressure with your thumb on the top controls how firm the casings are. And these ones, you can fill them right up. We're not going to twist them, we'll cut them after. And there we go, guys. Just crank her away. Letting, every once in a while, you know, when you first start, you should check, make sure it feels fairly firm. You don't want to be able to squeeze any more than an eighth of the way through with these guys. I'll reload and we'll do it again. Okay, we're reloaded. There's the end of the horn there. I just pull a little bit past the end of the horn. Pinch right at the end of the horn. And carry on. Okay, so this should be the final pull here on our honey garlic pepperonis. Not very much left in the hopper. Boom, found the end. All right, so now the next step is to cut them, get them prepped for the smokehouse, and I'll get that ready right now. All right, guys, we got them all stuffed, and if you've seen any of my videos before, I hang all mine over my smoke sticks. You can twist them up every however many inches, you know, 5 to 10 inches or whatever you want. But I do find this way, especially when you're doing big batches, is the quickest and easiest, and you get the most consistent size. But for me, You got to figure it out for your smokehouse, or if you're using a Traeger, it doesn't really matter, or a Traeger pellet grill, I should say. But for me, my smoke sticks work out to be the perfect size. So I start at the bottom, run them up to the top of my smoke stick, and come back down and run them to the bottom. This one's a little small, so it doesn't matter. Get a little bit longer one here. So I start at the end, take it, bottom of my smoke stick, go to the top on this end, come back down around, and cut it. I'll get these all ready for us, and I'll show you them in the smokehouse. Okay guys, pretty small load for my smokehouse, but this is kind of how you want to space them out if you're doing them at home. You want to leave about a pepperoni space in between each one. That allows the air to circulate between all of them, and you'll get a nice even color. It'll allow that humidity to escape from between each sausage while you're smoking them. Otherwise, if they're rolled up and they're touching one another like this, right in here, you're going to get pale, opaque spots. Sometimes, you know, I've read some of your guys' troubleshooting problems, and they're like, hey, mine kind of have like these sweaty casings, and they want to peel away from the meat. That might be one of the reasons why you get that. The sausage casings are too close together, and on our final cook step, the humidity isn't able to escape. You also want to make sure there's a little bit of clearance from the bottom of your heat source, so they're not right against there. Even with mine, like I hang them at that length from the bottom, maybe 1 inch, gets a little bit wrinkly, a little bit dry, but we cut those off and save them just for platter nubs and stuff like that. So that's kind of how you want to hang them, guys. You want to space them out. If you're doing them on a Traeger, it's the same idea. Just lay them out and make sure that there's that kind of even spacing behind each one. So for the steps, guys, and use this as a rough outline because everybody's smokehouse is a bit different. But step number 1, we're going to dry them. These casings are already pretty dry and stuff, but we're just going to let a little bit of humidity out of the smokehouse in step number 1 at 150 to 155 for 1 hour with the dampers wide open. Our second step is going to be smoking. I'm going to throw a pan of hickory chips in there. You can use whatever chips you want. I smoke just about everything with hickory because it has an antioxidant effect and it's a great flavor. Everybody loves the hickory. So I'm going to smoke it with hickory on step 2 at about 155 to 165 for an hour to an hour and a half. And then final step is going to be a cooking step. I'm going to take my meat probe here. I'm going to place it into the center of the biggest sausage, and we're going to cook them at about 185 Fahrenheit. It's going to take about an hour to an hour and a half until the internal temperature hits 72 degrees Celsius, 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I'm going to take them out and I'm going to put them in the cooler. Lots of times I get questions like you guys said that, well, I put mine in a quick water bath or I put mine in an ice bath, and again the casings were, they were sweaty looking, or there was a layer of liquid or gel between the meat and the casing. If you're going to do an ice bath, I'll maybe do a couple to show you guys. Do it super quick because they're really small casings, and then pop them in the fridge. It's going to knock 30 or 40 degrees Fahrenheit off them if you throw them in a quick water bath almost immediately. So those are the step, guys. And on that final cook step, you want to have the damper just about all the way closed, open just a little bit so it doesn't become a sauna in there. It doesn't get really steamy, but allows a bit of humidity to escape. So step 1, dry, 150, 155. Step 2, smoke, 155, 165. Step 3, cook, 185, dampers just about closed. So I'll show you guys what they look like when they're done the smoke cycle in about 4 hours. Okay guys, the dinger just went off here. So we're gonna pull these guys out of the smokehouse. Ooh, there they are. Get you in for a nice close-up while they're in the smokehouse. So guys, in regards to that kind of sweaty casing look where they're peeling away and whatnot, this is really what I'm looking for when they come out of the smokehouse. They got just a little bit of wrinkle on them. They got a nice even mahogany color. It's not pale, it's not opaque. And yeah, like if there was too much humidity, they'd be kind of that sweaty look. They'd be really plump. You want just a little bit of wrinkle. You're gonna lose a little bit of weight when you're smoking pepperonis. I'm just gonna take those guys from there and pop them into these 2 buckets here. As you can see, this one here is gonna be ice water. I'm gonna kind of ruin a pair of pepperonis to show you guys. And this one's just gonna be a dry tub. That's how I usually do them. I just air chill them overnight. There we go, guys. Nice juice coming out of them beef honey garlic sticks. So I'm just gonna lay these guys in there. They'll cool down overnight. Now guys, if you're going to water bath your pepperoni sticks, I don't really recommend it. It's not really necessary. They'll be fine. But if you don't want to lose any weight, I got a couple sets of sticks here. It doesn't take long. You don't even need like a minute or two. Like, that's nice cold water. Pop them in there. Poof. Pull them out. Let them drip. That's going to knock off a couple degrees easily right there. Bada bing, bada boom. Do that again. Just boom. If you get a whole bunch ready at once, you can drop them all in there at the same time. This is immediately going to stop the cooking. It's immediately going to suck the heat out of there. You keep them in there too long though, I got a feeling that's where some of you guys are running into problems. So, plop them guys in there. You could hang them back up to dry if you're putting them in a water bath or an ice bath and trying to chill them. But these guys, we'll leave in there for a while, like a couple minutes, and we'll see what the result is. I've never done that before. I've always just air dried them. But yeah, these guys here, they got like a little gloss from sitting in the water there. You could pop them back up to dry. I'll leave these guys in here for a couple minutes, guys. Then I'll tie a string around them or something, pop them back in that tub, and then we'll show you them. You guys could package them as soon as they're cold, but I want to leave them in there for at least a couple hours, and then we'll come back and package them and taste them. Okay, guys. So I left them in this water bath for about 3 minutes, and actually they don't look too bad, so we'll see how they look in the morning though. They definitely are a lighter color, but hey there guys, so it's the next day. Our honey garlic sticks have cooled down out of the smokehouse, and I learned something today. I thought that one we submerged in that ice bath for a couple minutes was going to have that casing that kind of slips off and separates from the meat, but it did not. Here it is. I'll bring it up close and I'll show you some of the other ones just for comparison. All right, there we go. So this one here, I don't know what side of the screen that's going to be for you. This one here is the one I submerged in the ice bath, and it's you know, it's a little bit lighter color. You might not be able to tell in the video there than the one over here, but yeah, no, that casing didn't peel off and become sweaty and pale and opaque like I thought it was going to. So that must mean that if that does happen to you, it's because there's too much humidity during the cooking step in the smokehouse. I guess if you get them nice and dried like this, and then pop them in an ice bath and let them air off overnight, they'll stick and you'll still get that nice mahogany color. I never do that. I always just let them air dry, so I learned something today. All right, guys, the last step is super easy. I just line them all up on the table. The ones that were hanging across the meat smoke stick first, and you just zip these ends here right at the peak. Then you got a whole bunch in a line here, and you just cut them down to whatever length you want. So here we go. Here's some kind of 4 or 5 inch snack sticks. Boom. It's way easier that way than linking each one individually. And bring them in here, show you guys a cross section of how they look. All right, so there they are, guys. Those nice beef snack sticks. Good protein extraction. It's not crumbly. You can see a little bit of fat in there. They're not too dried out. You're gonna have lots of flavor. Real yummy units. So, there they are. So, guys, like I said, works good with venison. Great little party treat. Yeah, nice and sweet. Lots of honey garlic flavor there. So guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys putting the requests in. There's the honey garlic snack stick. I hope you make it. I hope you enjoy it. Take care.